What's up guys, welcome to another video. So I've actually had a few people ask me, and since I've never done a video over the 7 Series, I'm going to do a video over the 7 Series today. Now I have been kind of neglecting this car since I got the Corvette, and you can pretty much tell it needs to be washed, so I'm going to take it to go get washed. And also whenever I was pressure washing my driveway the other day, I guess I got some oil and crap that splattered up from the pressure washer. I actually almost forgot what it's like to drive this car, and I'm actually pretty excited to get back in it. This has been my car for the past 2 years, almost 2.5 years, and it's been pretty good to me. I've replaced quite a bit of things on it, and then whenever I have to actually start it, I have a battery key that I have to install. I'll show you guys right now. Yeah, so this is my key setup. I just have it I have my battery key carabiner to my regular keys, and put it in here. This is a great way to stop power drain issues that I just quit trying to tackle. But all right, now the car has power, the subs have power, and everything is going to be good. All right, forgot all my Tupperwares in here. I should actually, I should probably check the oil before I start it up. So I don't know if all E38s and E39s are like this, but every single older BMW I've had, the hood latch has failed at some point. So basically all I have to do now is wedge a pair of channel locks against the carpet to where it actually holds up the hood latch. But shit, dropped my keys. And now I'm gonna go open the hood. This needs to be repainted here. I daily drove the shit out of this car for a solid 2 years. And here it is, the very dirty and unkept motor. Still looks exactly how I left it. Looks like it's been sitting for months. Alright, let's check the oil. I actually added oil not too long ago because it does have an oil leak. It's actually pretty fucking bad. That's about a month of it sitting there. That's how much it's leaked out. So I'm gonna need to pressure wash that probably today, and then get some oil pads and throw it under there. I really think it's a front main seal or the little seal that goes around where the crankshaft goes in. I'm almost positive that's where it's leaking from. Here's my Teflon and zip tie vacuum line fix. It's holding pretty fucking good. It's a little low, but not that bad. Yeah, that's still drivable. That's good. Alright. Probably take that out now. Here we go. First startup. So basically my ignition switch is completely bypassed, and I have these two kill switches right here, or toggle switches, and then a start button. So I probably should have done a video on that mod, but I wasn't doing YouTube at the time. But basically I'll turn it all the way like it would start on a perfectly working BMW, and then I just flip both these auxiliary switches. One of them is for the actual ignition for the vehicle, the other one's just for the radio, and then push on the brake, and it fired right up. Not too bad. Pretty good for pretty much over a month of sitting for a very old car. Seems legit. I'm gonna go pack everything up and then head out. Funny thing is, I'm gonna need to drift stitch this to match this. It was actually pretty stupid how it all happened. I barely tapped the end of that Honda Civic that's over there. Just barely baby tap pulling on the driveway, and I guess this bumper was so brittle it just shattered. So really the only way to fix it is to get a new bumper, but I thought it would just be funny to drift stitch it since it's kind of fucked up anyways. I'll probably do that later. No big deal. I can get another bumper. Dang, this thing really needs some love. Even the rotors have surface rust on them. And spider web. Yeah, that should come off after about a couple miles of stopping. I wonder how the back ones look. Yeah. It just needs to be driven. No fucking way. So I just pulled out of the driveway and I noticed a small trail of something dripping, and then it smells like gasoline. Yeah, I think my car's leaking fucking gasoline. Oh shit, I can just see the oil dripping. Dude, I shouldn't even drive this fucking thing. That shit needs to get changed. Holy fuck. That is really dripping. Yeah, that's definitely gasoline. This is the trail it made just from backing out the driveway. Holy shit. That is quite a bit of gasoline. It'll be alright. Fuck it. Alright guys, so I finally got the car detailed and washed. Took about 2 hours, took up a big chunk of my day. But I'm going to do a quick video over the 7 Series because I have had quite a few people ask me to make a video over this car. So here I am, I'm going to make a video over this car. So this is my 2000 BMW 740i. I've had it for about 2 years and I actually didn't buy it. I actually got it in a trade. I traded my GMC Sierra and it was an even trade. And to be honest, it's been a fairly reliable car. It has had its issues, but for the most part, it's gotten me from point A to point B. So real quick, I'm gonna go through some of the things that I think are cool about the car and some of the things that I don't like about the car. So starting with the interior, immediately the door, compared to the Corvette that I'm driving, is just much better build quality because in my opinion, BMW is just way better than GM build quality wise. But a nice heavy weighted door, hasn't had any issues sagging at the hinges, and it always closes pretty softly and quietly. Moving to the inside of the vehicle, actually one more thing I want to note about the things that I don't like. Compared to other auto manufacturers, obviously BMW had to mass produce these, but this wood grain actually doesn't have a textured feel to it, and I think that's like that for all of them, because even my E39 had this kind of flimsy little trim piece which you can actually pop out with a non-marring pry tool, which is actually what I ended up having to do for most of it, just to have it touched up a little bit because it was looking rough when I first got it. It does have the memory seat option, which I think was common for these cars, and I don't think that they actually made a 740i without a memory seat option. If I'm wrong, correct me now, but I had a base model E39 and even that had the memory seat option, so I'm pretty sure that's just standard BMW. Now for the speaker size, I'm not exactly sure, but I do know I got a aftermarket speaker set with the car. The previous owner actually just had them in the trunk. He hadn't installed them yet, but they are from Bavarian Auto Works, and it came with the tweeters all the way around for the front and for the back. So that was probably the first thing that I did to this car, is take off this door panel, Dynamat, and then wire up the tweeters and the speakers. So moving to the instrument cluster, this is a pretty basic BMW instrument cluster. I'm pretty sure they used the same from 1997 to 2001 in every single one produced, except for the M series ones where they had a actual M Motorsport badge right there, and I think the background was gray. I could be wrong, don't hold me to it, but these are all pretty common. So pretty much I have my ignition switch bypassed. One day I got a cylinder lock tumbler code on the dashboard, and I actually successfully hotwired the vehicle with the key. You need to have the key because there's something called the electronic driveway protection system. Like most vehicles now, the key actually, the car has to recognize the key. That's where I was going with that. But anyways, like you would start a normal car, obviously doesn't start. So this is the way that I've been starting my vehicle for the past year since this issue occurred and I fixed it. But basically I can put my key in. Once my battery key is in, I have a battery key in the back. I can put my key in and, okay, it doesn't start. However, now I have ignition and auxiliary power, and it is a push to start. And I guess one of the cool things about this is, say in the morning if it was a little bit cold, oh, lift that up. So say in the morning if it was a little bit cold, I could start the car, take the key out, go inside because my lock button doesn't work. And if somebody were to come in here and try to steal the car, well, you can't put it in drive because obviously it's ignition locked. You need the key. So I don't know, it's kind of cool. It kind of sucks that it doesn't work how it was intended to, but that was my workaround to fixing that. So the car came from the factory with a cassette player, and well, I wanted to be able to listen to my music in it, so I actually found a way to get a small amplifier. I think I got this from eBay. There was a DIY on Bimmer forums, but it's basically a LaPi amplifier, and I ended up wiring my auxiliary cable to it, and it runs all the way through here to the center console where the phone used to be, up into the dash, and it's wired to the tape deck, so that's how I listen to my music. I actually don't need a tape in there. All I have to do is turn on the amplifier and I can listen to whatever I want to plug an auxiliary cord into. Starting off with the instruments over here, everything is pretty basic. There is a rear shade that is supposed to fold up. However, I installed, if you can see, I installed some subwoofers back there, so the shade no longer goes up and down. That was one of the cons of installing the subwoofers, but those are two 8-inch shallow mount Shelby kickers. I got those from the door of my Mustang, actually. I wrecked the shit out of my Mustang a long time ago, and I pulled out the door speakers in the doors. They were 8-inch subs, and I basically made a custom enclosure out of the rear parcel shelf back there, and I might as well show you that right now. Yeah, so this is my DIY subwoofer box, and when I originally made it, I mixed the fiberglass correctly and everything. However, there's a difference between set time and cure time, and obviously I didn't let it cure. So basically it wasn't cured, and I threw it up in the rear window right here on a hot summer day, and the fiberglass actually started bubbling up. But it still functions perfectly fine. It's just not pretty. I can always redo it later, no big deal. But yeah, these are the kickers. It looks better from the outside. I think it adds a very slight, nice exterior touch because of the 20% tint. You can't really see all of the imperfections in the box, so it actually just looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Moving on to the back seat. It's pretty roomy. I mean, you can comfortably fit 4 people total in this car. I mean, the middle seat doesn't really count. So this is probably the one ghetto-ish part on the car. I have a ported box with the Kicker L7 back there, and I didn't feel like I couldn't really feel the bass in the car, if you know what I mean. So behind this little leather flap, you can see all the chaos. I actually cut into the car just to make a little room for the L7. I think it looks pretty good. Originally I was gonna get some LEDs in there. I just never got around to it, and this is pretty rough looking. I'll probably end up redoing that later. But yeah, with this down, bassing sounds pretty good. But there's a pretty good amount of legroom in here. I mean, it's not the IL. The 740 IL had a 6-inch longer wheelbase, which gave the passengers in the back quite a lot more room. But I mean, this is a pretty good daily driver vehicle. I have room for all my shit in the back pockets right here. There's a 12-volt charger, so the passengers back here can charge a phone or whatever if you have a plug-in USB port. There's air. I mean, it was all pretty common in every BMW. I just think it's cool because it's an old BMW, and I just think that adds an extra wow factor just because it's an old BMW. I liked old BMWs for quite a long time. So another thing that I think is pretty cool, now you can call me wrong on it, but I do believe that this back door is heavier than the front door. I don't know if it's because this has been closed 1.5 billion times just from the driver getting in and out, but the rear door just feels a lot more weighted and just sturdy, and it even closes a little different, but I mean it closes flush, but it's just it's a very clean close. So I'm pretty sure this is pretty common even in like a Lincoln Continental or something, but they do have the little shades that go up and down, as well as a quarter window shade right here. That's pretty cool. Over time these do get crappy, and as you can see this one doesn't go down anymore, and that side is a little fucked up. So these do go bad, but I mean what do you expect, it's an old ass car. Now one thing I wish they would bring back in more vehicles is the backseat ashtray. I mean this is just classy as fuck. You can sit and smoke your cigar and drink your champagne with no champagne cooler because this isn't a fucking Bentley, but I just think it's cool having an ashtray in the back seat, and then, you know, dedicated for this passenger. There's also one in that door right here. Now this is a lot different in the 740iL and I believe the 750, because with the 6-inch longer wheelbase, it allows the rear door to have more room, and I believe the IL models actually had a fold-out trash can right here, which is pretty cool. They probably had an ashtray in the door too. So one of the things I do require for a daily driver, and since I did daily drive this vehicle, is a lot of trunk space. I mean, I have plenty of room back here. I got skateboard, longboard, I got the big ass GoPro Karma case, a backpack, an emergency kit, trickle charger, and I mean, even the subwoofer's crammed back here, so it is strapped down so it doesn't, you know, slide around whenever I'm driving, but plenty of room, good for a daily driver. Oh, this is another thing I think was pretty cool. So there's a 6 CD changer in the back, which no longer works, surprise, but this is the GPS DVD. So in here, from the factory, your car came with a phone, and this one came with the GPS navigation DVD. And I think I still have it in here, and I do. So, from the factory, if you had a navigation system in 2000, they would give you a navigation DVD with all the upgraded maps. So basically, BMW would give you this DVD. If it ever went out of date or the maps needed to be updated, you would just go directly to BMW and trade them out in DVDs, and they would give you the updated maps. Now I'm pretty sure there was a fee that applied for this. I'm not exactly sure, but you put the GPS DVD in there, and then I'll actually go show you the ancient ass GPS system that this car has. I'm gonna see if I can bring it up here real quick. It's probably gonna take a minute. The car is old, but I'll go over here to menu, and then I will go to GPS navigation. Country, let's say United States, that seems legit. And let's go over here to map. And it should generate a map. If not, we'll try something else. Just rocking the yellow ass screen here. Oh cool. Alright, so I finally got the map to work. This is the ancient ass GPS system. Very pixelated, but I'm in Houston right now, and you can definitely see all of Greater Houston. Generate. Yeah, so this is what you would get in 2000 if you had a navigation system. You can see actually all of 610. Yeah, this is 610 all the way around. There's Rice University, University of Houston, so I don't really know how effective it is, but I'm pretty sure you could get around using this map if you're completely fucking lost. But I actually have a road atlas if I ever get lost and I don't have a phone, but this is just pretty cool. Alright, so moving to the exterior of the vehicle, probably the first thing that I did to this vehicle, besides the door speakers, is I got aftermarket wheels for it. I have 19 by 10s in the rear, and then 19 by 9.5s up here in the front. So one of the things that I get asked a lot is, why do I have slotted rotors in the back and non-slotted rotors in the front? Well, I don't fucking know. I guess the previous owner replaced the rear and didn't replace the front. No idea, but yes, I will get slotted rotors for the front eventually. These are 19-inch by 9.5 in the front and 19 by 10 in the rear. I really like the 5-spoke design, especially on a big body vehicle. On the front, I have Michelin Pilot Super Sports, and in the rear, I actually have Continentals, and I had Pilot Super Sports all the way around the vehicle, but if you can tell, there's a little bit of camber, and the inside of Pilot Super Sports wears super fucking quick if you have a cambered car. I'm not real big into the stance car scene, but I'm pretty sure those guys don't run badass Z-rated tires. I'm pretty sure they run a harder compound. At least I would, because of the tire wear. It just sucks. I mean, theoretically, you can put Pilot Super Sports on anything you want to, but just from my experience, I haven't purposely cambered this car out. That's just the factory camber, and it definitely wears the inside of tires. I actually had the camber adjusted once already. It has what's called an eccentric bolt, and I'm pretty sure I can actually show you if you have a 7 Series and are interested in reducing some of your camber. There's an eccentric bolt here on the inside of the wheel well, and it's, I probably can't even fucking see it. But anyways, it's an oblong shaped bolt, but basically if you tighten up that bolt, it'll correct the camber to bring it up more instead of slammed in. However, I had that done once, and my theory is whenever the tire travels up into the wheel well, it just slowly knocks the tire, or the actual wheel, excuse me, more negative than positive. So I'll probably end up fender rolling this. I do have a Eastwood fender roller in the garage. I just haven't had time for it, but that's probably the reason behind the camber. Not purpose, it just happens. Lowered car. The car is lowered on H&R sport springs. No, I don't have coilovers because, well, to be honest, I would never use them. I would just put them at the same height and then cruise all day. Moving to the front of the vehicle, it has everything that you would expect from a BMW from 2000 with 160,000 miles on it. It looks like it has been driven because it has been driven. The vehicle also came from the factory with these headlight washers, which long ago quit working. Surprise, they actually didn't work whenever I bought the car. There's a DIY on Bimmer forums of how to fix it, but to be honest, it's just not a big deal to me. I live in Houston, Texas. It doesn't snow and sleet that often, so I don't need to be spraying headlight washer fluid into my snow-covered headlights. It also has a super secret storage compartment. If you just pull on the daytime running lights, there is storage. I'm just kidding. I fucked that up whenever I was trying to change this light bulb out. I guess the clips are really brittle and they just broke. So moving to the hood, obviously you can see that it does need a little bit of paint work. The clear coat is fading right there, but I mean, it's an old car, man. So taking a quick look under the hood, this is the 4.4 liter V8 model. I believe the 750 IL came with the 5.4 liter V8 model, but it's pretty much just a standard BMW 4.4 liter motor. Nothing special, and I didn't want to mod it out or anything because that would affect the drivability of it. And well, it runs pretty good how it does right now. All I did is put a Cosmo cold air intake on it, and that's about it. Everything else was just strictly maintenance and replacement parts. I've already placed every single coolant part on this vehicle, upper and lower radiator hoses, brand new radiator, new thermostat housing, new water pump. Everything cooling related has already been replaced. If you're ever interested in owning an older BMW, some of the maintenance costs that you should actually plan into is coolant shit. Expect coolant to be on the ground and expect oil to be on the ground at some point in time. But I have replaced every single cooling component in here, and really it actually still needs vacuum lines and air intake boots. I have a ghetto little fix right here with Teflon and a zip tie for this vacuum line, and it probably needs new spark. It just basically needs an overhaul. Yeah, basically it runs and drives right now, but it does need some maintenance, so I'm probably just going to take the car apart and get it all knocked out probably in maybe a weekend or something and film a little video about that. It'll probably take longer, but I'm not sure, because in order to access the front main seal, I'm pretty sure the front end needs to come off, which isn't too bad, but that's probably going to be a future video in the making, is fixing this fucking thing, because I want this car to stay around. I really like this car. But alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the tour of my BMW E38. It is quite an old vehicle, but if you like old BMWs and you're here for car content, especially BMW content, well, this is the right channel.